Hello, Dan Smith here. I directed this film back in, well, it feels like a century ago. Yeah. Played, of course, by actor Jonathan Digby. Went on to some minor roles after this. Such a shame. I thought from day one this guy's got leading man written all over his face. Probably shouldn't have had Dick draw his weapon when he was talking about thieves.
Holy smokes!
Maybe one day we'll go back and CG it into a sandwich or something instead. Ha! Just kidding. I bet you didn't notice, but Dick was actually heading nowhere near that grain silo. A little editing room magic and no one hardly noticed. Oh, the dinosaurs. You just don't see quality stop motion like this anymore, do you? Someone actually sat there and moved them, frame by frame. Today, it'd be done with computers, but where's the artistry in that? We got our fair share of nasty letters from scientists complaining about our portrayal of the dinosaurs. Was news to me. Apparently, these stegosauruses weren't meat eaters. Must have preferred shellfish or something. Wow, how do they know? That's what I... We put Jonathan through a lot shooting this film. He wasn't the best actor, especially when reacting to getting hit. He's what you call a flincher. So I told the stuntman to really just go to town on him. It's the only way to get an honest performance sometimes. Our props master tried to make the weapons soft, but there's only so much you can do. Lucky for us, Dick's entire body was covered in that spacesuit. That thing was a lifesaver when it came to hiding bruises. As usual, the local population is defenseless. That's where our hero steps in and saves the day. We had to redo these shots. Our first attempt was kind of a disaster. We tried using real apes, thought it'd cut down on the costume budget a bit. But have you ever tried working with apes? They are the worst actors ever. They don't sit still for a moment, and the second you take your eyes off of them, they're flinging their feces all over the place. Jonathan refused to work with them after he got, some really top-notch stop-motion effects, huh? Unfortunately, we skimped on the Dick Starspeed puppet a little. Oh, this was groundbreaking. We had the woman rescuing the man for once. We were really ahead of our time with this scene, but well, then again, I've always been rather progressive. The studio exec didn't seem to get why it was such a big deal, though. Sorry, we don't see this as anything unusual. Ha! Of course! It's unusual. A woman would never save the man. It just doesn't happen. Not in the movies, not in real life. I don't know why we didn't get more recognition for this scene.
Thank you.
I guess I was just a little too ahead of my time.
Huh? Where is this place? This is not my father's chambers.
Oh, this scene. This is practically Shakespeare in outer space.
Just as the entire planet does.
And, huh? Patrick, what's wrong with the video?
Sorry, sir. Technical problems.
Darn it, we're missing some really good writing here.
There, sorry about that.
Well, he just passed right by her big scene. Basically, they agree to work together, but one must stay behind in the sleep chamber at all times.
Should I rewind?
Never mind, I'll continue from here. Right from the start, our budget was a little tight, even by standards back then. To make do, Tony shot a couple scenes in black and white. Originally, he intended to use it for flashbacks, but then I had to break it to him. Our film doesn't have flashbacks. We almost made it a silent film just to cut costs. I know a taxidermist who helped us out with these bat creatures for real cheap. He's not good. He's kind of sloppy if you want to know the truth.
Air teleport
But that's
usage.
the best part. A
Jump.
sloppy bat looks
While in
scarier.
the air, use teleport.
But you gotta sew up that sphincter. Just trust me on
Quickly
that one.
return to upper floor.
Oh, the squids. Some board member had these nephews who really wanted to be in the films. They made me cast them as squids. Whatever happened to artistic integrity? If you're going to cast a role not on merit, at least let it be a hot female role. My effects team kept assuring me the strings wouldn't be visible in the final cut, but I could see them. No transparent nylon. This stuff will do the trick. Yeah, right. I swear, those darn strings is what made my hair go white. Now, that weapon, it's just an electric shaver, but, you know, I bet you'd never guess it was, would you? They look so futuristic. Spinning never felt quite as athletic as when Dick did it. I hope we have another scene coming up with him. I just can't get enough of Dick spinning. Nitpicking science community also complained about these Terra whatevers breathing fire. Like there's fossil evidence of dinosaurs not ever shooting fireballs. It's not like I gave them neck frills or had them spit poison or anything ridiculous like that. Tried this one with regular logs. Well, that was disastrous. I'll tell you, never mess with physics. It was kind of, well, to be frank, it started out nice, but then, well, it was a death trap. Just plain and simple, it was a death trap. Poor kid holding the boom almost broke his leg. Guess he played basketball in college or something, because he leaped right at the last second. Woo! Crisis averted. My props guy wanted to swap them with some spongy material for safety, but I had a better idea. Let's set the logs on fire. Then the crew will be sure to be safe dealing with them. This movie may not have made the big splash in Hollywood or even made the budget back for that matter, but hey, in the end, I think it was still worth making just for those die-hard fans that really love it. I attended a lot of sci-fi and movie cons, and to this day, I still see fans showing up dressed as aliens and apes and dinosaurs. Does a man proud. Now, granted, their costumes aren't exactly 100% faithful to the film, and it seems that no one ever remembers them by the right name. But still, knowing that we still have fans like this promoting the film decades later, it puts a tear in this old director's eye. I get all emotional. Okay. Hey, Patrick, I was thinking we should take a little break and get a bite to eat. You like Chinese? I know a great takeout.
Well, we're not scheduled for a break for another few hours.
Nonsense. Hey, you have to try the shrimp. It's the absolute best. But, oh, hey, I feel like I should warn you. It gives me horrible gas. But that's okay. We're friends, right?
Really, sir. Studio time costs a fortune. Let's just stay on schedule.
Good thinking. We could grab a real dinner together and go out for a night on the town, yeah. Two young bachelors on the prowl. Say, where do you youngsters go these days? Funny story about the two caged apes in this scene. I had completely forgotten about them when we wrapped up filming on the set. Then we spent the next day doing a location shoot. So, suffice it to say, our return to the studio was met with a couple of grumbling tummies complaining about unsafe work conditions, human rights, yada, yada, yada. These rickety old things, the higher up they went, the more they sounded like they were gonna fall apart. I'm amazed that no one ever got hurt, or worse, riding these things. Well, there was the actor we originally cast for Dick's role, but we don't talk about him. Tony and his insistence on lens flare. I tell you, some days it felt like he was trying to be the director. Honestly, you could see dust on the lens, so just go and wipe it off myself. He would get so upset about it, too. Like my fingers aren't clean enough to wipe the
cannot fight
lens.
this beast here.
Don't touch the lens. Whatever. Ooh, you really start to get a sense of how high up our heroes have been climbing here. Reminds me of how the crew always used to comment on how high everyone was. Those jokers, they'd even say it when we were filming the grounded scene. And they all giggled like school children whenever they mentioned it, too. So I'd make sure to laugh even harder so they'd know I was in on the joke. Whatever it was. Say, you know what I was thinking? With all this jumping and climbing and jumping, wouldn't this make a great video game? Isn't that what all those video games are about? Jumping around?
Well, yeah, and killing. There's jumping too, but mostly the killing.
What? Patrick, that's awful. What sort of example are we setting for our youth?
Well, movies are pretty violent too. Your heroes have killed everything in sight. You had Dick shooting a dinosaur in the face in the first 5 minutes.
Well, Patrick, that's different, you know? What we did on film, that was art. Video games aren't art. We actually built sets back then. Props, walls, you name it. Then, you moved bits and pieces around and created whole new scenes. We were efficient. I adopted that technique to my wardrobe, too. If you mixed and matched sufficiently, you could get by for years on only a handful of shirts and underwear. I hear modern science fiction...
Enough! Your tinkering costs me precious gold and time. You do not have that luxury, Dr. Peculiar.
Yes, Your Eminence. Releasing the Macamillion at once.
Ah, Ludwig. Yeah, good old Ludwig. We cast an actual doctor to play Dr. Peculiar. Never again. Oh my God, he was a cranky old coot. May he, rest in peace. The costumes, the script, the creature effects, you name it, he wouldn't stop criticizing everything. Well, in his defense, I think he did have some early signs of dementia or something. He was always getting lost on set, forgetting his lines, making up new ones. Yeah, it was cute. Midway through a scene, he'd just yell, "Where are my pills?" It was like a catchphrase. We almost left a few of them in. I have to say that the incredible job the animators did with the King Gorilla can only be outdone by their work in the Mechameleon. I'll leave further comments for later in the film, but this was truly an epic creation. I was a huge fan of the old classic movie, The Flea from 1958. So I created this monster as sort of an homage, in respect to that film. I have the darndest time with that word homage. Here we see our first glimpse of a technique I used throughout the movie. Want to make a big scary monster look even more menacing? Put it in a dome. Monster doesn't look scary enough already? Put it in a dome. Want the audience to know when a monster really means business? Put it in a dome.
Where is my Mechameleon? Why has it not pulverized the intruders already?
Well, Your Eminence, I was installing photon lasers into its eyes, and I hadn't finished. So, the Mechameleon...
At the altitude where Dick's rocket ship had crash landed at the start of the film. When I think back about all the work we did, building this darn tower and making models and costumes and sets and props, and then trying to keep it all straight during filming and not getting anything all mixed up. Ah, yes, the rotating contraption things. We actually used Ferris wheel parts from an old amusement park. I think it was called Disneyland.
Disneyland? Isn't that kind of close to...
Yeah, and the courts agreed with you. They shut them down before they opened the gates.
Well, it's their own fault, I guess.
Well, naturally, my production team swooped right in and bought up everything they could get their hands on. So I guess there was a silver lining to their legal battles. One man's lemon is another man's lemonade. Or however that saying goes. Fun fact, the statue of the Emperor is actually as big as it looks on screen. Yeah, we were going to use a small model and green screen it, but then Greg offered to fund building a life-size version. He was planning on setting it up front and center of his used car lot. Apparently, he ran into some issues with zoning laws. Yeah, I told him he should just play dumb and put the thing up anyway, but he wouldn't listen. I guess that's why he's still running that same lot. Whereas I've been barred from filming in 12 different states. If I told you how much gold paint we used on these darn sets, you wouldn't believe me. We were originally trying to decorate this whole set in precious stones. I wanted that sparkling effect, but then my props guy shook his head. I've learned that when he shakes his head, it's best to go with Plan B. Unfortunately, Plan B meant a cement mixer filled with gold paint. It was so much hard work, even I had to finally roll up my sleeves, dive in, and call some interns from the community college. Man, there's nothing college kids won't do for free pizza. Yes, that was a trend. Once an actor started spinning in place, every actor wanted to do it. It just looked so fun. Whoa, that scene always makes me woozy. Hey, Patrick, I think we need a break. Seeing the action in this scene reminds me of a big fight I had with the studio head. Word to the wise, when the guy funding your movie offers you a suggestion, stupidest idea ever is a phrase you should shy away from. Can you imagine one of those on your average elevator? Still, it's even worse when you press all the buttons on a real elevator. People get so annoyed when you do that. Nowadays, we just click, click, and make all this in 3D with those computers or something. But no computers here. No, heck no. I still don't know how to work one of those damn contraptions. Wham and bam. Now, here's some real action. Nothing like an adrenaline boost to get our hero to really start wailing on those monsters. We were unsure how to represent a surge of adrenaline at first, but I think we nailed it. Yep, definitely nailed it. Set construction 101. To make it look nice, you gotta make it look shiny. That's the secret ingredient, you know. We had 14 production babies while making this movie. One of them was even named after one of the characters. Maximilian J. Peters. of skydiving myself, but I have a crippling fear of heights.
Wow, really? So, was this movie your way of tackling that fear head on?
Nah, this movie is what gave me my fear of heights. By the end of it, I was directing scenes with my eyes closed to keep from getting panic attacks.
Now it's all starting to make sense.
Rats! First you destroyed my mechameleon, now you shattered the Dynodrome. Now they all escape. Do you have any idea how difficult it will be to recapture them all?
Dr. Peculiar, why is my dinosaur army running amok? Oh, well, let them roam the island.
But, Your Eminence, what if they trample on some of my hybrid specimens? That would be like turning Gregor Mendel's pea garden into soup and forcing him to drink it.
Mendel Schmendel, Doctor. I gave you gold to spawn me a dinosaur army, and I expect my army to kill thee!
Your Eminence, but whatever you command, this army science has these conditions. No! Not my Tyrannosaurus Rex! You Neanderthal! Great! Do you know how long it took me to crossbreed killer bees with velociraptors? Of my professional career. I hope you're happy now. Welcome to a world with no genetically modified carnivorous dinosaurs.
Some people wondered why we had that third lower exhaust pipe on Robot, even though it didn't shoot flames when he hovered. It was purely a matter of necessity. Wearing a suit that takes hours to put on? I mean, when you gotta go, you gotta go. Space station. Space, the final frontier, where no man has gone before. These are the voyages. Whoops. Sorry, I got kind of carried away with something else there. Shot this scene with Scarlet using the landmines, but then I came to my senses and we reshot with Dick. I mean, a woman using high explosives? This may be a science fiction, but we have to keep things at least somewhat believable. Hey, most days, the effects team really nailed it. Dinosaurs, saucers, hey, you name it. But these, deflating rock boulder cubes, not their best work. It just looks kind of odd, if you ask me, like giant whoopee cushions. And they said they could add some debris and explosions or two afterwards. And then we ran out of budget. Well, to be fair, we ran out of budget several times, but still, I lost a lot of sleep over these rocks. It's funny because when she says that line, it almost sounds like she's insulting Dick's masculinity. None of us caught it in the filming. But at the premiere, I saw the reaction on Jonathan's face. Whoops. A lot of people complained that the fight scenes went on a little too long in my movie, that there wasn't enough story and exposition. Excuse me, what kind of movie did you decide to go see? An action movie, you say? Last time I checked, dialogue wasn't a movie genre. The doctor. After the first few outbursts, I tried firing him. He was heartbroken, devastated. And then the next day, he'd just show back up to work like nothing happened. I couldn't bear to fire the man twice. That look on his face the first time. Oh, well, I just made it work. In retrospect, he was a bit creepy, though. Always hanging around the ladies' makeup trailer. So creepy. Oh, well, who can blame him? We had some really nice eye candy on the set. But he was creepy. Invisible men are always cool. And the great thing is, they're easy to cast because of obvious reasons. Actually, that's what I wish I was when my ex-wife or IRS come knocking at my door. Forget I said that. Patrick, we've been recording for a while. Can we take a break now?
Well, we're a little behind, but sure, let's take a $5.
Oh, man. Man alive, that feels great to get those headphones off. Whew. That's a load off my shoulders, which is, it's actually a load off my head, which is a load off my shoulder. But anyway. You know, I gotta level with you. Most of the cast, not that great. Worst acting I've seen, probably. Yeah, we'd shoot some scenes a dozen times just to get it right. Hey, I once took... Hey, you're not recording any of this, right?
Oh, nah, it's all good. I'll just make a note to edit this stuff out.
Jonathan, that was an odd one. He used to tell me that after he makes it big, he doesn't want to be Jonathan Digby anymore. He wants to be J. Dig. He thought it would start a trend or something. Can you imagine that? The first letter of his name, and then the first syllable of his last name? It's so absurd. That's the sort of thing that would never catch on. Oh, especially in the entertainment industry. We had these space cogs strewn across the planet for the heroes to pick up, to explain how they're able to keep improving all their equipment.
But how does adding gears to something like a baton or sword suddenly make it better? I mean, how do gears even activate?
Patrick, let me stop you right there. Are you an engineer?
Well, technically, I'm an audio engineer.
Exactly. Didn't think so. Hey, keep that in mind next time you criticize things outside your realm of experience. You have any idea what sort of blood, sweat, and tears went into creating this army? And making them all move around on cue? No, seriously, do you? Because I'm still stumped by this. I watched the scenes, and I just, flabbergasted by the amount of work someone must have done to make all this happen. We tried a lot of names before we settled on Dick Starspeed. You see that? I couldn't get enough of it. Jonathan loved to spin in place. He's good at it too, right? I mean, did you see that? That's Olympic caliber spinning, if you ask me. We tried a lot of names before we settled on Dick Starspeed. Let's see, we had Lance Laser, Gary Galaxy, Samuel Satellite, Nacho Nova. That was my favorite. Yeah, we did a whole lot of those same first letter thing for a while there. The execs wanted us to go with Dick, though. For a while, we were going to go with Dick Missile, I think. The studio didn't care much, as long as we steered clear of Uranus and black holes. Dick Missile penetrating deep into a black hole, then going to Uranus. That would have been a knee slapper. For the evil replicator, I wanted a really awesome, unique new robot creature. I had even envisioned a mix between a praying mantis and a tractor. I drew this doodle on a napkin and showed it to the special effects lead, but I knew the answer when his face went pale. I mean, how much more work would it have been to squeeze in one extra monster in production? I was going through a phase back in the 70s. Always had mood rings on. Several of them. I used to pick a color, and then I'd make the actors just keep doing the scene over and over until my rings turned that color. That's how you know we're achieving the right tone for the scene, you know. It used to drive Stacy bananas. She'd call me names and swear, and I'd just say, huh? I don't need a ring to tell your mood right now. She hated that. You know the best part about releasing this new DVD will be? All that sweet, sweet royalty money. Man, I can't wait till that starts rolling in. Of course, the old VHS we put out back in the 80s and the TV syndication pay out royalties too. I'm still waiting on my first payment from all that.
They could see me now. Fights and runs away, lives to fight another day. Nothing can stop me. Ah, I better wait until those energy rings are charged.
We were choosing between two actors, but in the final round of auditions, Jonathan did his signature spinning in place, and that made our decision a whole lot easier. That's what I call a well-armed defense system. You know, because it's an octopus and it has many arms. Okay, all right. At first, I thought Jonathan's spinning was just a nice little talent. But then, he really wanted to incorporate it into the Dick Starspeed role. I said, run with it, boy, see how it goes. And he really did. He really did.
Eliminated.
Well, that's all, folks. the greedy emperor gets what's coming to him. The scientist learns he shouldn't play God. Spectacular monsters, large-scale pyrotechnics. This is what sci-fi is all about. And about now, we should be seeing the ending title card, the credits, and all the usual fanfare and the music. Hey, let's not forget, hold up. That's not right. Huh? Patrick, what is all this? What is this footage you're showing me?
Sir, are you all right?
Well, goodness gracious, man, of course not. You got the wrong movie.
But sir,
Where'd they get this footage? What, did they film it when I was in the restroom? Impossible. I always used to make Carl go with me to discuss our next shot. Part 4? Okay, now. Patrick, something's fishy. Something's real fishy going on here. I'm gonna make some phone calls. This isn't...
Did you look at those costumes? Yeah, this is definitely made by the same crew. Made from those inflatable air dancer things you see outside stores. Oh, they must have borrowed them from Emperor Greg's used car lot. No doubt about it. If the director was good at anything, it was figuring out how to do things as cheap and cheesy as can be. What if those are children in those suits? Did they actually cast a bunch of little people? Casting call, 3-foot-tall actors needed. Must be okay with exploitation and standing around in a poorly ventilated papier-mâché suit all day. Ah, there we go. No B-movie is complete without crawling brains. Who comes up with this stuff? What brain creatures is? They should be smart, right? I mean, they're a brain. Being smart is like it. These things just crawl towards the hero and get squished. Way to go, brains. Still confused by these guys. Were these brains once human or something? Did they lose their will to live now their bodies are gone? Maybe they're like cow brains. That's why they aren't so smart. Or maybe like a manatee brain. Yeah, water cows are adorable. Oh, right, and yep, here comes the crocodile alien men, right on cue. Where did they come from? Are they all friends with the bobblehead aliens? Wow. Are they breaking the fourth wall? They are breaking the fourth wall. For that? Couldn't they have used something cooler than scissors? I get the whole thing about the strings, but that's like fighting against the Galactic Empire with a toothbrush because you discovered that they all have bad breath. Thinking when they built this place. Like, they couldn't just build a normal stairway? Were tiles that appear and disappear right under your feet really the best option for getting up this tower? Elsewhere? Bertha, looking pretty pale there. I'd sure cut off all the smoking, Aunt Bertha. It might kill you. Or, you know, that hero who's got a pretty bad grudge against you.
I shall turn you to gold and craft a tea set out of you. Better yet, I'll turn you into gold tiles for my bathroom. Soon your rebellion will be crushed. Quit being such a nuisance.
Scripture says so. Use the final artifact to find the eye in the sky. You must make contact with those people and change our destiny.
Huh? No! Hey, that really hurt! Oh, I've worked with some difficult actors before, but you are the worst. This scene is just all wrong. No! Oh, are you crazy? Stop sabotaging this scene. Do you have any idea how much it costs to do retakes? Oh, no, you don't. Don't you dare jump off the set again. Don't you dare to... You've gone absolutely mad. Is this those damn method acting courses you've been taking? You want more money? You can't renegotiate your contract mid-shoot.
We don't want any more Gravorians or apes to die.
You... what?
You are in command of this world. We want you to cease these misfortunes.
Wait, let me get this straight. You want me to change the script. Fine, I'll make the changes. So, the Emperor becomes a kind-hearted, generous man. Oh, and he loves puppies in the springtime. He frees the slaves, signs a peace treaty, yada, yada, yada. And bam! Everyone lives happily ever after. Okay, is that fine? Is everyone happy now?
Hello, Rich? You there, man? Dude, strangest day ever. We didn't really finish the commentary for that sci-fi DVD. That Dan Smith guy just up and left, like he forgot he filmed